Hi friends, Vhyrel here. Today, I want to share with you some of my favorite artists in the Final Fantasy XIV space. To keep this video from lasting a decade, I've only allowed myself to pick 11 artists. Obviously, there are so many artists out there deserving of recognition, so these are by no means the only Final Fantasy XIV artists who deserve a spotlight. They just happen to be the ones that I came across on Twitter. I would love for you all to leave a comment sharing your favorite artists, even if they aren't related to Final Fantasy XIV. My list is in no particular order at all, as it's not my intention to rank these artists or force them into competition. Rather, I'm just sharing something I love. I will be including links to each artist's social media in the description, so be sure to go follow them to see more amazing pieces. The first artist on my list is BellPepper Art. I have been following this account for a really long time now. Bell posts a lot of 14 art and it's all terribly gorgeous. You'll notice they have a few different art styles, all of which are stunning. They also make short comics about their character as the Warrior of Light and the Scions. The comics are always super cute and were one of the things that originally attracted me to their page. The next artist I'd like to share is one I found only recently. I'm really sorry because I'm probably gonna butcher their name, but it is HoangLap. The art this person has created is literally jaw-dropping. Though they've done a few Final Fantasy XIV pieces, they are more of a fantasy artist in general, which is still right up my alley. I really love the stories this person creates with their art alone. I feel like looking at their pieces just makes your imagination bloom. The next artist I'd like to show you is another one that I found pretty recently, who goes by Jenny or JennyH illustrations. I really love this person's art style because it's very soft and pretty. I think it also has a feminine vibe to it. I especially love the way that they draw eyes and lips. Once again, this artist doesn't just draw Final Fantasy XIV art, they also have other fantasy style pieces as well. Either way, their art is very lovely. The next artist goes by Lauren or at ayeoops and has done a fair few Final Fantasy XIV commissions. What I love about Lauren's art style is how bright and colorful many of the pieces are. Her style almost reminds me of cartoons or comic books, but more graceful and elegant. I also really like the way she shades her pieces. It feels very soft, but also has a lot of dimension. You'll also notice she often draws little X's in her pupils, and I just think this is such a unique, fun touch. Overall, her art is really vibrant and joyful. Next up, we have an artist that goes by Sun on Twitter. I happen to find them because they also make free Discord emojis that are Final Fantasy XIV themed, and they're super adorable. The art they post on their page is really unique. It's bursting with colorful, perhaps even busy backgrounds, but I think it works, and that's exactly what makes the style unique. There's something about Sun's art that has this very dreamlike quality, and is just very vibrant and pleasant to look at. Okay, so this next artist goes by Vhyrel, and they're not really a Final Fantasy XIV artist, but they do draw a lot of the characters from the Final Fantasy franchise in general. They've drawn Fran, who is technically in Final Fantasy XIV. Listen, this is my video and I get to include whoever I want, okay? They're just far too talented for me to pass up. I mean, look at the stuff on the screen and tell me you disagree. They draw a lot of characters from fantasy games and sometimes redesign their outfits. I haven't even played half of these games, but the art seriously just blows me away. Next, we have an artist that goes by Etro or Etroveria. To me, their art looks a bit more anime-esque, but honestly, I don't really know anything about art or what the different styles are called, so you tell me. Either way, they have a fair few Final Fantasy XIV pieces, and they've done commissions of people's characters. All I can really say is just, wow, their art is seriously incredible. I hate Xenos, but their piece of Xenos in the Sakura tattoo outfit that I'm blanking on the name of, I'm literally trying not to have a crush, and I don't want to admit that because I hate Xenos, but like him in that picture. Moving on. The next artist I'd like to share is called Norino. Their art looks almost like oil paintings. A lot of them have very deep, dark colors, but the pieces still have this sort of magical feeling to them, and the colors feel so rich. Some of their art makes me feel like I'm entering a different world. They have a lot of really gorgeous Final Fantasy XIV related pieces, so I definitely recommend checking them out. Next up is Yuue Fa, who I found because one of their Emet-Selk pieces got a lot of traction, which is no surprise because it's amazing. A lot of their art also reminds me of oil paintings, and I absolutely love their use of colors. Even the dark photos still feel rich and vibrant. I think one of my favorite pieces they've made, aside from the Emet-Selk one that I first found, is that of Hythlodaeus wearing the Cape of Happiness. Next up is one of my absolute favorite artists on Twitter. They go by @InTheStardust or Uni? I'm not sure if I would necessarily call them a Final Fantasy XIV artist, but once again, my video, my choice. And they have made some Catgirl art that's a commission from a 14 player, so that's how they made it on this list. That, and they're literally one of my all-time favorite artists. Anyways, they do two different art styles. One of them is like 90s anime art, and it's so adorable. I love the backgrounds, I love the shading, I love the eyes, I love everything about it. And honestly, I love their other style, which they've labeled as Nouveau, just as much. They do a lot of pieces of their original character in this style, and I don't know, I might like this better than the 90s anime style. I just basically love everything that they do. They are my favorite, or at least one of them. It's really hard to pick a favorite amongst all the artists because everyone is so talented, but this is definitely someone that I personally am like, every single time they post, I'm like lapping it up. Like I've been starved of thirst. That may no, I've lapped it up as if I have been in the desert for months with nary a drop of water. There we go. Got it. Let's move on. And the final artist I'd like to share goes by Luckyia. This person's art is more anime styled, but it has a very whimsical feel to it in my opinion. It actually kind of reminds me of Studio Ghibli films for some reason. I absolutely love their depiction of hunt trains, as well as the piece of a chocobo and a white mage Lalafell in what looks like Lakeland. And that's it. Those were 11 of my favorite Final Fantasy XIV artists. I love to hear which one was your favorite, as well as any other artist recommendations you have in the comments below. Please leave a sacrifice for Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye!